Hey all, it is halfway through July, 7/14. So tomorrow will be halfway through, and it's amazing. Again, we've already passed halfway through the year. Things are moving along very, very, very fast. This week, I got to run up to a corporate office in Utah tomorrow. Going to be on a plane, see what that's like. I didn't say the first time I did travel on Allegiant over to Missouri, over to the cabin here a few weeks ago. Now I got to go fly. I'm flying American. I'm gonna see what that's like. See, I haven't been through that. Now I got to do it with this thing too. So we'll see how this works out. Do the mask thing. It's going to be interesting. I haven't seen what that looks like yet, but I've heard that it's not so bad and that they're not as crowded. So be good stuff. Let's see here. First off, those who watched the video before, if you didn't get through the whole thing, so I know if I'm looking at the analytics, you're not watching all of us. I'm gonna do this up front. New YouTube channel getting launched for the Quit Jerking Off Initiative. So showing you that here. There's only 1 minute. So if you go to the very first, for the email that you got, just scroll down to the bottom of the links, click on that one for the QJO Initiative, the Quit Jerking Off Initiative. Watch that trailer. What we're going to be doing basically is the outdoor channel meets the business channel. We're going to have people come in, business leaders from across the country, come in, meet up with us. We'll spend the day taking them into an environment they've never been to before, or maybe a few of them, but very rare, rock crawling, long range shooting, bow fishing, fly fishing, things like that. Just try and get outdoors, do some adventures with folks, and then help them to really break down the barriers so that we get to know them personally a lot better before that interview happens. Then we're sitting around that fire at night and we hopefully dive deep into the success formulas that they had to go through, because everybody's different, but the formulas are pretty much the same. It's just a matter of how did people attack it. So we want you guys to have that, because if you're going into investment real estate, you got to know how to build your business, right? You got to know what you're going to be tackling. You got to know how other people tackled it. So I'm going to get it directly from the individuals themselves. So go back to the email where this came from, go to the very bottom, click on that, subscribe. We're going to start punching these things out. September's when it's going to really launch with the full episodes. We're going to start punching 3-minute teasers, pulling out from each episode. We've got quite a few filmed, doing some more later on this next month. Try and do it once a month, get 4 of them filmed. So just appreciate you guys subscribing to it. Give me any sort of feedback of things you want to see, and we'll start trying to incorporate into it. It's been a huge endeavor. I've been working on it for over a year. So let's go into the market real quick, see where we're at right now. The 3.5 is basically what I've been watching mostly. It's still staying within that same, bouncing around that 10-day moving average. The stock market's been all over the place. They want things to happen in the stock market. When you think about the investors, everybody who's putting their money, they got to decide where they're going to go, stocks, bonds, right? Well, the Fed's dumping a lot of it in here. The Fed's going to keep it fairly consistent. But our ability to break out of this, I think, is going, and rates get better, is going to be with more investors than just the Fed putting money in there. But what in this particular rate range that we're talking about, why do we really care? I mean, I get it. We want to have the lowest rates we can. But at the same time, at today's rates, when I'm starting, I bought 2 new properties recently. I'm just locking. I don't care. Because I know what happens when I'm properly set up with my taxes. I know how things are set up with my systems, my processes. I just want to get these deals closed and take advantage of the opportunity here. If we're trying to roll the dice and pray that we get better rates, I think it's going to be potential risk, right? Because eventually the Fed's going to divest. I don't know when. Federal Reserve says it's going to go until 2022. So just jump and grab. That's going to be the best thing for you. Jump and grab. Get a great team and jump and grab. Now, I promise you we go a little bit into the steps that we go through, right? When it comes to getting the mortgage done. So I'm going to tell you, backroom information. So the first off, of course, your application, you guys all know that. Go to the website, aaron.chapman.com, click on the Apply Now button, fill it out. Everybody fills those out. So what we're doing is we're looking in there for specific things, right? We got to make sure we have a 2-year history of a person's job, that they've been working for at least 2 years. Then we got to see what that average has been. Now, if it's self-employment, we got to look at the average of that income and make sure that it meets the requirements, because Fannie and Freddie and the Dodd-Frank Act, everybody says you have to be sure that we're not putting a person in a bad position by giving them more expenses to take on. We got to set you up right. Then the next thing is just looking at the history of the assets, that it's your money, that it's not been filtered through something. Because again, if you're now having to take on more debt for more money to put down on this house, now what? Now you got that expense coming at you. I mean, we want to set you up to be sure that this is a good business for you, not another risk for you to potentially have it falling apart on you. The main thing that I want to get into today is the credit. A lot of folks when they look at the credit report, I've seen not very often with real estate investors, but often enough that, they have a negative situation on their credit report from the past and it got paid off, but it's still affecting their credit. They're asking, well, when I mentioned, hey, your credit score is here, like say a 690 or whatever, and anything below a 740, you're going to start seeing the rate affected. And he said, well, why is it that? And I'll explain what I see on their credit report. Oh, you had a collection a year ago. I said, well, I paid that off. Well, I know that you paid it off. It's good you paid it off, but it still showed it was a collection, that it wasn't paid to begin with. The terms of what you agreed to on that loan were not met. And because of that, anything negative will impact your credit score ongoing for about 7 years. It's going to your score will slowly improve over that period of time. But anything negative, whether it be late payments, judgments, collections, any sort of information that is on their foreclosures, car repos, things like that will still continue to haunt you for a length of time. It's amazing how many people don't understand that. They just believe you pay it off, everything goes back to where it should be. No, we're showing your propensity or your ability to agree to something and live up to your end of the bargain. And if you're not living up to it, meaning making regular payments at the time that you have agreed to make them, then there's going to be a negative effect on that. Now, there is some things I believe that are huge errors in the credit reporting world. There's things that, that are completely anomalies that I think that, when a person makes a mistake, there's got to be some way to deal with that, but we haven't figured that out yet, because it should be telling you what is the propensity of this person. What is the likelihood of what they're being late? Not, one time they made a mistake because of, life got crazy, but at the same time, you got to have accurate reporting. So just understand that when we're looking at that credit report, 740 or higher credit score, that you're not going to have any negative impact to the interest rate. From 720 to 739, there will be some impact. Could be about an 8% rate, or possibly a quarter or 3/8 in cost for the same rate. You go from 700 to 719, you've got an increased hit, and adds another 8, maybe another quarter, another 3/8. You get below 700, you start seeing bigger hits, right? We can still get loans done in the 6s, 660, 680, things like that, but you're going to see some big hits to the rate. And just understand that that's going to be the case. It's called risk-based pricing. Increased risk associated with your credit history means that they need to increase the price of the loan, or at least the interest rate, to get somebody else more willing to put money up to take that risk, right? You got to pay them for the risk they're taking on. Get your credit score up above 740. They don't see the risk associated with it on the credit side, so there's not going to be any sort of adjustment assessed on the rate or the costs associated with credit. So that's the basic in and out, right? You get into bankruptcies, you got to have 4 years outside of a Chapter 7. If you had a Chapter 13, different circumstances, you have to have a payment history on it. That's one we'll probably have to talk about, because it's a shorter term, but you also have to show a payment history, and there's a lot more to the Chapter 13. Foreclosures, 7 years. 7 years. Forbearances, just got to be out of it. Can't have anything in forbearance if we're trying to do a loan for you. So there's a lot of different things associated with the credit that we need to have a conversation individually about, or your processor, to be sure we help you to be able to qualify. But for the most part, real estate investors, I'd say my average credit score, I'm looking at 760s and above. So we're very blessed to have a lot of great people we work with, a lot of people that trust us. Thank you for the trust. Go to the channel, subscribe, Quit Jerking Off Initiative. We're going to be getting you some really good data in the future. Thank you very much.